No, I didn't buy cigarettes.
I sent you the text about buying cigarettes.
Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday, and welcome to Unsealed. This week we have a special guest sitting here, right here with Matt Henderson. You're kind of you're a racing figure. I mean, whether I could say controversial or just winning, or I know we were talking about you on the podcast last week that you just swept up $20,000. It's a pretty nice little weekend there.
That was an awesome weekend.
Yes. So, of course, I'm Kate Dillon from CrateInsider, here with Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines, and just kicking this off. So, you guys, as you join in, stop and say hi. Tell us where you're watching from, and if you got any questions, like tech questions or any questions for Matt, especially. I mean,
I have a question.
Really honored to have him on the show.
How does it feel to win 20 grand?
Awesome. It was amazing, man. The last two laps, I just felt like my car was good enough that I was going to win that race. Last two laps.
There were no weird noises or nothing.
I did. When the guy gave me the bullhorns to go, I was like, I'm going to win this race.
Because, I mean, you were like a half track ahead.
I know. And I was just like, I'm going to win this race. I cannot believe it. And my eyes started watering up. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Great. Well, we blew the keg a few minutes before the show started, so now we're sampling some wine while we're at it.
Matt's never drank wine.
Yeah, we'll let it rest for a couple of minutes here. Let it
air it out a little bit.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. You gotta let it air a little bit.
Yeah, because I just opened it, and then I'll hand you this so you can.
Thank
We've
you.
got crew member
get that out of the
Jason
way.
over here.
Jason's over here in the corner.
Yep.
Get
So I
some of that.
see Ken is here saying hey. I think Ken is in Florida. Scott's here from California.
Yep.
Man, I mean, I hate to get too political on this show, but oh my God, California is the place to watch this week.
Tuesday's gonna be like a
Oh, wow.
Tuesday
recall.
is the recall. Yeah.
Don't get us kicked off Facebook.
No, all I said,
I mean,
that was a PSA right there. That hey, if you're in California, be sure to vote.
We're
Larry
all-
Elder,
We're
vote yes.
we're
Vote-
all watching.
Yes, we are watching. All right, so I see Mark is here. He says, "What's up, guys? Can't wait to have a few beers with Steve at Antioch for his Hall of Fame."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this
that's
is
coming up.
this is coming up
Congratulations.
Really,
Thank you, man.
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
Appreciate it.
Really cool.
It's gonna be a thing here in the next
I was just looking.
28 days or something like
Yeah,
that.
we're leaving September 30th to go to Pittsburgh
Yep, for
to go
Dad's
to the
Memorial
Bill
Race.
Hendren Memorial Race, and also what Lucas Oil race is that?
Pittsburgher.
The Pittsburgher, yeah, 100 lapper with Lucas Oil.
Which,
guys.
if you have the chance to go there, it's it's an amazing race. I mean, this is a half-mile track that races like a quarter-mile track.
Yeah, they throw sliders.
Have you been there?
No, I watch
dude,
it every year.
It's freaking amazing.
I watch it every year. It's awesome.
It is awesome. And honestly, like, other than maybe one race for Dad's Memorial Race up there, every race he's had has been, like, determined on the last lap.
Wow.
For that, yeah. It's amazing.
There were some real heartbreakers that we've seen over the years.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, there's that, too.
There's
but
always a
I'm just
heartbreaker.
saying, holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing racing.
So Ken's here. He says, "Good driver." Talking about you, Matt.
That's my buddy Ken, yeah.
Yeah. And Penny's here saying hello. Richard and Penny from Oklahoma. So we've got
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma, California, Florida. And I see J. Mike Burns watching from New York, where races are routinely canceled due to rain. Hey,
Yeah,
we live in a
South too.
rainforest, so yeah, we get that.
Been
we
there.
Get that.
Or tire shortage.
Oh,
That's like the latest thing, apparently.
yeah, especially those asphalt tracks because they require them to buy tires at the track.
Well, you know,
but-
that 50,000 to win fast track thing got canceled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a weekend of a series coming into Tennessee got canceled because of tire shortage.
Yeah. So,
And the national championship, the race I won last week, because of a tire shortage, they changed the tire rule to be hards on the back only,
oh, wow.
just because that's what was available.
Yep.
Well, I know at the big Street Stock Nationals, they also changed the rule. Like, you could only show up with, I think it was like 7 tires
7 tires total, yeah.
total. And they marked them, and that was it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what you had for
I think-
all of practice, qualifying, racing, everything.
Yeah, you had 4 and one spare to get you to the main, and then you had 2 tires you could bolt on. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was... Talk about a challenge.
So one of the reasons we have Matt on here is he's the house car driver for CVR race cars.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit, because not a lot of people honestly know about CVR.
Yeah.
Because everybody hears about Longhorn and Rocket and Very Right and everything
Yeah.
else. So honestly, just tell us a little bit about CBR.
Well, we're a self-made chassis manufacturer from the South. We're located right at Knoxville, Tennessee. Our cars are like nothing else. You're not going to recognize a component from another chassis manufacturer, and it's not copied.
What did I say? Like at the driving school?
Oh,
I mean the school.
Yeah.
You're the only guys that mount the engine correctly in the car.
Yes. Our drive line is how would you say, endorsed by Hendron Racing Engines?
100%.
Yeah.
On our chassis now, by the way.
Yeah. And we do our own things and have had some success doing it, and it's just an alternative to the big guys, but we're trying to get there.
Well, and CVR stands for Chip Vineyard Racing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, in case anybody's wondering what the...
He's the show, man. He touches every component that goes on the car, whether it's the tubing that's bent to weld up or the sheet metal that's slung on it for the body. He touches every piece of it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the way it is, and he's involved in every aspect of his race cars.
And I was impressed, like at the Race Logic Chassis School last year, like with Chip in there, like talking to people and like basically giving away, like, this is what I do. He's not one of these guys like super top secret.
No.
He's telling everybody, this is what we do, how we do it. Follow it, don't follow it, it's on you, but,
Well, Chip won a ton of races as a driver
Absolutely.
before he built race cars.
Yes.
And he won a ton of races, and he knows how expensive it is. And it doesn't matter, even if you're not in his brand, he doesn't want you to spend money to make a mistake. So he's like, look, I tried this, it doesn't work, just do it this way. And he really is like that.
I wish my dad was still alive, because him and Chip would have got along great.
Yeah, because
that was my dad's whole
bullshit
theory.
and a help
No
guy.
bullshit, and it was, I'm going to help you not spend a bunch of money.
I knew your dad from the forums.
Right, yeah.
He's a badass dude.
Cool. Back to our comment section here. I see Roy is here. He says, hey, from California, currently headed to Santa Cruz.
All right.
Yeah.
I am too, in like 28 days or something.
Brody here
Shit
says,
like
who's
that.
the dude in the middle? This is Matt Henderson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you knew that. But
Yeah.
well,
He
you
just
said
won
it in the beginning.
$20,000 last weekend, or weekend before last.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy.
Yeah. Oh, Ed says, who's having a few more than they should? Me.
Ed is part of
Go,
the
Ed.
Stanco family. Stanco, one of our
Okay, yeah,
sponsors.
yeah.
Great guy.
Awesome.
What's Stanco do? I haven't heard of Stanco before.
Stanco builds mining equipment. They have construction business, and they do trucking. They do a little bit of everything. Great people.
It's pretty cool that they come in and support racing.
They do.
That's pretty cool. Great. And Billy is here watching from Illinois. And Terry, he says, hello from Iowa. Still does exist.
Really? Are we sure?
And for anybody who's new here listening to the podcast or watching this show.
I don't believe Iowa exists. It's
Correct.
just one of the things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple race car drivers that claim they're from Iowa, but are they really?
Yeah. And we've got Sean from Southern Illinois, but not Chicago. Very clearly,
Yeah, not Chicago. That's
I
awesome.
don't
No
blame him.
worries, no worries. Jim
I
is
would claim
here.
that.
He's still alive, so
And-
he's not from Chicago. We know that.
And Brody says, yeah, just messing with you, Matt.
That's a guy. He's got a new Hendron in his car, and he's got a new CVR.
Oh,
Awesome.
Brody Sharp.
Yep,
cool deal. Cool deal.
absolutely. Yeah, you picked it up a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's actually got two Hendrons.
Does he?
He's got that brand new one and the one that's in his car.
Oh, okay.
He
It's
ordered
like-
one a long time ago that he was saving for his new car.
You know what's funny is, like, after a certain amount of time, I don't know who's got what. Honestly.
There are motors that you make sure are great and done, and they're
Try
gone.
to, yeah.
Mhm.
And we've had a few problems here recently. I mean, GM does have a little bit of an issue right
I
now.
know. I heard from another engine builder that they may be issuing a recall.
It could be coming. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
we're-
worrisome.
We're a little concerned about that right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I'm joining that club of the concernedness.
We're
I am too.
aggressively trying to find the problem with that.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
for sure. And if you guys have any questions, whether it's for Steve or for Matt, I mean, if there's anything I can answer, I will. But, generally Steve and
I
Matt are
have
gonna
a question. I have a question.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring this up.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well,
This is like the elephant in the room.
I don't know.
How
You're going to do that.
How about
Okay.
that special CVR CHP fuel?
Well, it's special enough that VP made it in bulk, you know.
Exactly.
And it was straight from the drum, and luckily I've got an engine builder that knows how to test all that. And
Correct.
I brought it and verified that.
Yes.
But, you know, there's a series running around that didn't make the lab do the right protocols. The lab actually wanted to do the right protocols, and
Correct.
the series actually said, nope, those results are good for me. Just hold that right there.
But you have other people running around saying, I know exactly what's in that fuel because the series told me.
Right.
But the series won't tell you.
The series will not tell me. They nobody has, and it just does not conform to the benchmark. Well, the benchmark was 8 years old.
Right.
Hell, I would say it doesn't. Something's changed in 8 years,
Right.
you know. So, you know, I was upset enough about it that I called Steve. Steve says, bring me that fuel tomorrow. I called Steve and I said, you really want me to bring this fuel? He said, yes. I left, came there. Steve tests it, does everything. The way Steve tests it, he can tell if something has been additive that's damn sure illegal. And Steve goes, you got fucked.
Yep.
Straight
My
up.
exact words. And he did get fucked.
And there we go.
Yeah, I mean, but how does it feel? That has got to be tough to be labeled as a cheater when you really didn't. You know what you did or didn't do. How does that feel?
Anyone with half a brain cell knows that I'm not going to bring a race car to the racetrack that's illegal. My shit's good enough. It's been kicking enough ass that I know I'm going to be teched. My motors are badass. My race car's badass. And if I don't fall out of the seat, I can hold the wheel. I know I'm going to be teched. I'm absolutely not bringing it.
Second, third.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get teched.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring something illegal.
No.
I mean, they took I set fast time. They took a fuel sample then. I run second. They take a fuel sample then, and I know that. I expect that.
Right.
I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to bring something illegal. My tires, my fuel should be 100% spot on all the time.
Yep. And they are.
Yeah.
And you know who just won $20,000?
Yeah.
This fucking
This guy.
You know what they checked? My fuel. You know what was right? My fuel.
Exactly. So
Not taking a chance.
And well, I've got an opinion on, you know, some of the people that might have finished third or so.
Yeah, I understand. We all have.
And by the way, that 20,000 wind race, I didn't get to watch that until the next day on Dirt on Dirt. And that pass going into turn 1 and 2, where you like blew by the third place guy, and then the pass in 3 and 4 where you blew by the
it was
first
straight
place
horsepower.
guy. That was fucking awesome. Just saying.
Straight horsepower.
And driving talent.
No, thank you.
Well, you know, it's really fun actually to see you guys together because this really goes back to 2020 and goes back to the Race Logic Chassis School down in Alabama, and Boyd Built was bringing a pull-down rig, and there was a death in the family, so the guys from Boyd Built couldn't bring it down. So Matt gets tasked to do this, and this is like 5 minutes after your concussion from the dome.
Yeah,
somebody just mentioned something about that.
I wasn't cleared to drive.
Right.
On the street, yeah. And Tim Morgan with
We were
Boyd
talking
Built.
about this earlier.
Yeah.
You got fucked up at the dome.
Yeah, Tim Morgan goes, hey man, I volunteered. I'm gonna bring this machine. I've got some family issues. I can't go. Can you do this for me? And I'm like, shit. Well, I guess I can, you know, because at that time I was probably one of the largest dealers Boyd Built had. So I still have a good relationship with him, you know, and I came down and met you, met Alex. Mm-hmm. We talked about Steve and Hendron, and that's where it all started, really.
It really was. And then...
And I always thought Matt was a dick. But he turned out to not be a dick.
You know I'm a dick, but you're all right with me. Yeah.
Well, you know, I always say,
Hey, at least I did not get my ass beat at a private function
right.
What was that town?
Loudon.
Yeah, Loudon, Tennessee.
Yep.
At least I didn't get my ass beat because I was a loudmouth little bitch. But.
Right.
I take it that wasn't you either.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
No.
just making sure.
No,
But, you know,
he beat some ass in Loudon.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, you know, and...
We said nothing was off limits tonight, right?
He might say you're a dick, but I always say that Steve's an asshole But he might be your kind of asshole.
Well,
you
dicks need assholes. Ultimately, is what it comes down to.
That's the whole South Park Team America World Police action right there. No, but it was really cool. You and I met, and then you were like, Brian Littleton from Race Lodge. Brian, you need to have a crate class.
Yeah.
And you were really spearheaded that. And then, of course, we did that in Lenore, Tennessee this year.
It was awesome. Honestly.
In January.
Was great.
Unbelievable turnout.
Yeah.
People we weren't expecting. People were coming up, just let us in. We'll pay cash at the door. It was unbelievable.
I've raced all my life, and I learned stuff there that I never knew before. I'll put it that way.
I was up there with you and learned stuff I never knew before.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and oh, look at that. I already have a little banner thingy. So, hey, I'm just going to put this across the screen here. But for anybody listening later on, because, of course, this gets published as a podcast over on CrateInsider.com. But if you're listening, you want to write it down, racelogic.vip, and that's where you can sign up. So if you want to be there in person, and then you get the online version as well. So, I'm just saying this as a public service. Sure.
Of course.
Selling. Hey, while I'm public servicing,
Right.
January 7th and 8th, save the date. Come to the Cars Racing Show in Hickory, North Carolina. Regardless of what happens, we will be having a trade show because we were in full lockdown in December of last year. Guess, we were the one racing trade show that happened last year in 2020. And we're going to do it again here in January 2022. As of today, as of about 2 o'clock this afternoon, registration is live and you can get your tickets for free over at carsracingshow.com. Yep. So I'll drop that link in.
And that show is phenomenal.
I couldn't believe it. I got more out of that show than another trade show that I'll go to every December. I go to it every December religiously, and in just the 5 or 6 hours I walked around there, I got more out of that trade show than I do out of the other one.
Yep.
In a year.
We're not advertising that there's going to be 20,000 people there or anything, because it's not. It's going to be a few thousand people, but it really gives you a chance to really network with other racers, to network with the people, the booths that are there, and man, we got some heavy hitters. I'm so excited.
Well, I think the cool part about that whole show is like what you were saying is you get to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So like at the other one where you got like 50,000 sticker collectors in the aisle, who you can't
get to the people you need to talk to.
You need to talk to. This one here, you can actually like walk up and actually talk to somebody, and establish a relationship, and they want to talk to you. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that was
the best trade show I've ever been to.
Absolutely.
Gosh, thank you.
In any industry, because I've been in the undercar industry, and I'm telling you, it was awesome.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, Jimmy and I, of course, my brother Jimmy Schultz from Dirt Rap,
friend of mine.
We pulled that together in fewer than 3 months and knocked it. I mean, was it perfect? No, but we did our damn.
No, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, now we've had like a whole year to plan this one, so we're really excited about
for
this
the times that you had to put that on. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Did you know Jimmy and I were friends?
I did not know that.
Yeah, we've raced together, been friends.
That's great. Okay, I'm going to add the banner. I'm going to show it. There we go.
That's good wine, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we're drinking Canyon.
Oh wait, hang on. This is the very first time Matt Henderson ever tasted wine.
Ever tasted wine?
This is a good one to taste. I mean, it's mellow.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
See, that's the first time. That's good.
We're gonna be straight up wine snobs. Yeah. I got a whole case. I got some cheese to go with our wine as well.
Yeah.
So, sweet.
Yeah. Normally I say that in jest, but I mean it.
Sorry. I mean, cheese to go with wine is what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
I had to cough.
All right, I'm going to say hi to some folks. We got some more folks here. We got Clayton is here Shane from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Nice.
We are covering some territory. Bobby is here, just down the road from us in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay, cool.
And Cameron's here. Now, Cameron's got a really interesting story. Cameron was a crew member who
Is this tire in the head, Cameron?
He was hit in the head with a tire.
Yeah.
He was hit in the head with a tire. It really had some really long-term effects.
Mm-hmm.
It really was a tough deal. I mean, when you got a tire flying at you at whatever miles an hour, that's a bad deal. He was in the hospital. We really got a chance to chat a lot with Cameron. at the Cars Racing Show this year. But
Cameron, what do you think? What do you think of the trade show, dude?
Yeah, definitely drop that in.
Comments, please.
But he says, "Congrats, Matt, on your victory, and it's great to hear you're doing better after your head injury at the Dome race." Talk about that. I know that's now been almost 2 years ago.
December 2019.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago. But tell us about what happened, and then what the recovery was like.
We had this conversation.
We talked about it, and actually, we had the same.
Very similar.
Yeah. So. Friday night we win our prelim heat or whatever, and it locks us into the show. We're racing alongside Davenport and stuff. Man, I have to give up. I'm running 5th with Davenport, which is dreams come true kind of stuff. I have to give up. I'm done. I mean, just my head is hurting so bad. I pull in the infield, pull across the racetrack, done. My car owner's like, "You need to get looked at. Like, your eyes are in bad shape."
What fucked you up to start with?
The racetrack was so rough. It was unbelievable. Right. And I was hitting between the headrest of my seat. Yeah. And I mean, back and forth. So they're like, "Well, do you want to go to the hospital?" And I said, "No, I really don't." And they were like, "Okay, here's what I want you to do. Go home or go to the hotel, rest, come back tomorrow. We're gonna recheck you. I mean, if we clear you, you can race tomorrow. If not, maybe you should go get seen." So I was like, well, maybe Kenny Wallace will drive my car if I can't be seen or whatever, So I come back and they're like, "Your eyes look better," and they were doing the light thing, and it hurt my head, but it wasn't like shut my eyes, just bear down. I get out there and I'm passing on the outside for the transfer spot for the big show, and guy just barely clips, and not intentional, barely clips me in the left front, sends me out of the opening. I hit right rear wheel to the blunt opening, and it stopped my world. I didn't know where I was. It was horrible, and the headache I can't describe. So they sent me to the hospital.
Been there.
Sent me to the hospital, and the recovery time. I was at Chips, and Chips had a flickering light, like the ballast was bad or something, and it would make me curl up in the floor. I would go home. I mean, I could not stand it.
So post-concussion syndrome.
Yeah. It was the worst thing to recover from.
Now, is there anything special that you were able to do to try to speed up the recovery, or is it just a time?
They actually gave me a game. It's actually a drag racing game, and you watch the tree and launch, and it retrains your cognizance. And they gave me that, and I could do that, but I couldn't do it long, and that's what helped me really recover.
Damn.
Wow. Well, and that was what you and I got talking about, especially with being at the Race Logic Chassis School. Back in 2020, that was the very first one that I was recording. Otherwise, I'd gone there in the past to talk about fire suppression, but you and I really got connected talking about safety. And I never knew that there was such a difference in seats. And you were like a jockey for hire. Like, just put me in a car. I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, whatever. I don't care. As long as I fit in the seat. And you're a little guy. I don't mean like little guy.
No,
I just mean you're gonna fit into.
I can fit in anybody's seat. Just put me in it. That was my attitude. Yeah.
Right.
There was a article in Dirt Late Model Sale that said, have suit will travel.
Right.
So that was my thing, is I would go drive whatever you had, and if you wanted it raced, I was there.
Yep.
Now I'm a little more picky about what I get in.
Now, can I go ahead and ask, and what are your favorite seats?
I run a Butler built SFI. It's a Pro Light 2. That's what I run. It's got progressive foam and everything, and it really keeps you safe. I mean, the headrest is literally that thick in foam. That's what I run. I've not had any incidents, even on rough tracks, where I've knocked myself silly.
Yeah.
I mean, I went and got in a customer's car, a friend's car. He had COVID. I won that race. He had my exact same seat. So I was at home, and he had the same seat. I banged the cushion, knocked the radiator out of it. Never had a head problem one.
Well, and go back to the Cars
You
Racing
are kind
show.
of notorious for banging the cushion and knocking at least the right rear quarter panel off.
If not the rear cliff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and Butler Built, of course, was one of the companies that was at our trade show. And, it's really good to be able to be measured and really check out those seats in person. As much as I sell stuff online every day,
just throwing this out
seat
there,
is something that's tough.
That's the seat my son's in.
Yes.
And you trust it, obviously.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now there's a really great question because, I know you. So, yes, you believe in safety, but it's you, right?
But not really.
Yeah, I know. It was like whole next level.
A little more old school.
Well, when it came to your son, though.
Yeah.
It was no holds barred on getting the best of the best.
Yeah. Actually, his helmet is the reason that I got a different helmet. Oh. Alex's helmet, he showed me, was the reason I got the Bell.
Nice.
That I swapped to Bell helmets.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah, and I think that's the
I've
GTX.
always worn Bell.
Right.
Really?
My entire
and that's
life.
why I became...
Well, 1 year I tried to wear a Simpson, but I couldn't. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, and it's because your experience with Bell is why I became a Bell helmets dealer, and the one we're talking about is a GTX3 Carbon. And those are a little tougher to get, but I've got the RS7.
No, but other than 1 year, I've always worn Bell.
Oh, you've got the RS7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got the RS7 and the RS7 Carbons.
I bought my non-carbon from you, my white one.
Right.
And I got the carbon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Amazing helmets.
Well, and now...
Kate sells them?
I do, and now I even have them in stock. As many as I can.
CrateInsider.com.
Correct, yep.
The Shield,
shout-outs.
the GTX3 or the RS7 has a double liner to seal from dust. Not that I'm trying to sell you a helmet, but...
Right.
Well, no, what I really need is, I don't have a race car, and I'm not behind the wheel.
All right, Matt, so, you race in the South, you kind of got the whole red hair thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
How do we even know you race? Because aren't you supposed to?
Yeah.
It's like red.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. After a race, I should be covered in it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But you're not.
It all.
Now my neck is different.
Well, and next week he'll be showing the cleanser that he uses to have.
Well, there you go.
Sponsored by.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Noxzema, this is a good opportunity for you.
My new facial mask.
All right, so we got lots of questions in here. Let me see if I can catch up with some folks here. Let's see. Okay, and okay. Oh. Ed says, you boys got screwed, and they know it.
Yes.
And now, Billy says, GM recall, that's not good. I just bought a 602. Billy, I'd say hold off.
Well, man,
What'd you say?
No, it's not all of them. But I know that there's a lot of 602s and 604s, losing number 2 main bearing. So we're still trying to figure it out.
And it's consistent on that cylinder.
Very consistent, number 2. Yeah.
And he says, J. Mike Burns says, are you talking about crankshafts breaking on the GM crate engine?
No, not breaking. No, we're losing number 2 main bearing.
Yeah, would that be a possible recall?
This is something that, God, we've been aggressively trying to go after this shit for 2 weeks now.
Is it like something in the casting for oiling or something?
I think. Well, I don't want to put my opinion out there because
if I'm
wrong,
in your
I'm
position,
wrong.
you don't need to.
But yeah, no, it's not oiling. Because if you lose number 2 main, but every other bearing in the entire engine looks great.
Yeah.
It's a crank problem, not a bearing problem.
Okay.
So I just don't. I know what it is, but I just don't want to.
Or you have a hypothesis.
Well, it's a very good hypothesis.
Well, it is, but you got to wait until you get the data back.
Exactly.
All right, so Sean says, Sean's got a great question. He says, how much fuel pressure should we have on a 602B mod? Our gauge reads almost 9 psi. Do you recommend an inline regulator, and if so, what brand?
Yeah, always regulate. If you're going to go with a deadhead, pretty much anything works, like the Holly or anything. Most Holly carbs, you're going to be around 6.5, 7 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer. Do you want to talk about bypass?
No, yeah. If you're going to go bypass, then you need a high pressure pump, and you still want to be around that same on gas, around that 6.5, 7 pounds.
Good deal. Yeah. Good deal. Chris is here. He says, Chris Peavy says, we got popped on tires, and I know without a doubt the only thing that our tire was cleaned with was simple granite.
Dude, yeah, Chris actually knows. And it's also from it's all from the same
lab.
Shit fucking lab.
Yep.
Well, and Mike says, I've heard of Simple Green causing a hot reading on tested tires. I actually have interestingly enough, I have footage of a promoter's workshop back from 2013, from when I first moved to North Carolina, and I was involved with another trade show. And we had the promoter's workshop. I had it all recorded, but by the time it got edited, it was so late I didn't do really anything with it. One thing I was able to learn from that is the lab spoke, and they talked about how Simple Green, when they see a certain spike on the chart, they know that it's Simple Green. So it is what it is. Like, they know that it's Simple Green.
Yeah, but
and it's
also,
very prevalent.
Also,
and
the
it's not
same
outlawed.
lab, like, yeah, I don't know. I've got. All right, so like I've had friends get busted on tires from the same lab. You know what this lab does? You know what they did? They test septic tanks.
Really? I knew they did state work.
That's their primary.
I knew they
thing.
did. I knew they did water
So,
testing for the state
correct.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's news
Alex,
to me.
Grab another one of those.
Roy says, nothing off limits. What about the shooting at Friendship Speedway last night?
Well, I heard it was like a bunch of four-wheeler dudes.
I don't know anything about it.
I
So
read
there's
about it on
there's
the way
like
here.
guys on four-wheelers, and I don't know, it's like redneckery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
like, some dude on a four-wheeler was, like, mad some other dude won, and then he shot, like, two people.
Canyon Ridge, right-hand side.
I saw where they said that these guys were going to jump this guy, and he started popping shots just to even the odds. I don't know. Then I read
have
about
no
how
idea.
he was a convicted felon
Right,
on
yeah.
felony
I don't
probation.
know.
I don't know.
There's no telling.
Mike-
But, I mean, it's redneckery.
Well, Mike has a good answer.
Which is why we don't go to Friendship.
He says must be the friendship wore off.
Well, I mean, that's why I don't go to Friendship Speedway.
Wow.
Just saying. But
Wow. Oh, and now Cameron's
I've raced
back.
there,
We were,
but
of
I
course,
don't
talking about the head injury, and Cameron says if anybody can see eye to eye with a head injury patient, that would be me.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, Matt, you now have an excuse for being an asshole because of your head injury. funny, hint, hint.
That is no shit. Like, your temperament changes.
Really?
Yes. God, yes. I mean, why do you think Steve's the way he is?
Oh.
Concussion. You're welcome.
Like,
I gave you the reason.
Oh, so it really, your mom didn't drop you on your head.
Well, no, she wouldn't do it on purpose. She might have, but that might have been my first.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, racing was the next 5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Cameron did say to you, Matt, he says, great job, wheelman.
Thank
That's
you,
really
buddy.
what you're
Yep.
mostly known for is you were certainly a wheelman.
Thank you.
Now, Lucky Dog Racing is here. He says, hi from Lucky Dog. We
Yep.
picked up the 2K win last night at our home track, Sumter Speedway, with the Blue Ridge Outlaws, thanks
Nice.
to the guys in
Oh,
Hendron.
wow.
Awesome.
So, yeah, Lucky Dog
Blue-
Racing.
awesome.
Blue Ridge is
Congratulations.
tough. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Alrighty, Jeff's got a question for you, Steve. He says,
Huh?
Steve, what's the time frame you're thinking about GM making a decision on a possible recall? I'd like to order a motor soon for next year.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I don't. Yeah. This is, dude, it's like a total shit show right now. If I was in charge, it would be like tomorrow, but I'm not, so I have no idea. I mean, GM goes. So back years ago, we had a valve issue with GM, and it like took them 2 years to recall motors.
Wow.
So I don't know. What I can tell you is from an anonymous source, who's actually one of the guys I deal with on a daily basis as far as like buying motors, is GM told him that they have no clue what's going on. They assume it's a clearance problem, which is not. I can attest to that. And they're potentially looking at, they're getting like every motor back they can get. And it's, I don't know, it's fucking ugly.
From inventory or already damaged?
Damage.
Well, I would say, I mean,
and the problem with damage is they only tear them apart like every 3 months.
I know that's right.
So
we had a problem one time.
It's fucking ugly. I have no idea.
Well, I think the other thing you have to look at here too, though, is why is it? I mean, you've got a giant corporation. It's not that I'm holding up for them. I'm just
it's a machine. So I mean, you have to get shit rolling, and then you have to go like
manufacture the
correct
the problem, engineering, manufacturing.
And for someone so big, it takes a lot for it to become a priority. You know, they got too many irons in the fire.
Except for they don't have any semiconductors. So, they can't make new cars. I guess we could focus on our crate engines.
That is
for
a fact. They got people standing there.
My instant like solution is like grind all mains 10 under. So
fix the rest of it, and then you can fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
I think I know what the problem is.
But you're working on it and working with GM.
But the problem is that we're facing right now is like for every one of me or like a couple other my people that I deal with who've lost engines on dynos.
Yeah.
You've got those people who haven't. So it's not every motor.
Right.
So it's a crapshoot.
Wow, it's like Russian roulette with motors.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that reminds me, I understand, let's talk about oil for a second, because I actually got a heads up that there are, obviously there's different oil recommendations.
Right.
So tell me about the oils that you recommend and why you recommend them.
Well, I mean, number one's like going to be the Daytona one.
And that's going to be the PTRO. We've got the full synthetic with the 5W40. Basically, I sell all the things that he recommends.
It's stupid expensive.
No, it's not. It's less expensive than Klotz's.
That's what I've been buying from Crate Insider.
Okay. So you can attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen this on an engine dyno, but our oil temp actually dropped when we swapped.
Really?
Yes, sir. Sure did.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep. And I don't know if that's standard, but that happened for me, and I don't run an oil cooler or anything, so my oil temp actually dropped. So that was with Daytona 1 he recommended.
Well, I love to hear the real world experience of, it's one thing to test it, and all of that, but to have that real data, and then, I don't know, how can you argue with 20,000 to win?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's never failed me.
And
so, I've not had an engine failure, oil failure, nothing.
Good to know.
They tore that damn motor to the ground too, by the way.
I know. I was like, man, it's surely to God you've seen enough. Nope, we're going to keep unbolting shit.
No, we're going.
And every piece that they wanted to see, they saw. So we brought it in pieces.
Tom's putting you on the spot here. Mm-hmm. Tom Lovett says, damn, look at Steve drinking. Pinkies out.
Hey,
he's classy.
Hang on.
Classy.
This could be like the thumbnail. This Steve, pinkies out. Oh, I can't wait to see this. I did not notice because, well, Oh.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. And he will own it. So good deal. Now, back to your question.
Yeah.
You asked Cameron what he thought of the trade show, and Cameron said, I've been to a lot of trade shows in the country, and probably one of the best trade shows I've ever had the most success with is the one that you guys put on at Hickory last year. Plus the good times we had and having awesome conversations after the show, if you know what I mean. And yeah, we hung out with Cameron and a group of other racers and really had a good. And he said, it's the best, 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 the best.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't come back, Cameron. You've already been there one time. I'm just messing with his tire beat up head.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And, oh, gosh, we got some great stuff here. Lots of things here.
Oh, wow. All right, cool.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And, back to the concussion, Cameron says, I can describe the headache. I had it for 16 years, brother, and I'm so sorry you had to experience that. So
Thank you, Cameron. I hate you did, too.
Now, Mikey's here. He actually came out from Oregon. He went to our trade show, and he said, I've sort of put racing on hold for the meantime to pursue some dreams of mine, but the Cars Trade Show is one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Yeah, he came out.
I'd recommend it each and every time. Yeah, it was really cool. Mikey and his wife, Jessica, they came out from Oregon here to North Carolina. really enjoyed meeting them in person. It was fantastic.
Come back,
Yes. And he says, and of course, getting to meet each of you and talk like family was a moment I'll never forget. Well, that was great. Philip says Matt Henderson buys his seats in the kids department.
In the what?
In the kids department. Do you know that guy won an award at 411 Motor Speedway one time for the longest I've ever seen a wheel tossed?
Are you serious?
Yeah. This guy shipwrecks his car. This guy shipwrecks Philip's car. And he comes rolling through the pits, and it killed this wheel. So he's got this thing. I think it still had the tire on it, and he chucks it 20 feet and hits this guy in the door. And I'm like, and me and him, that's the first time we met. We're parked right beside each other, and I'm like, I'm not screwing with that guy.
No.
But Philip's a great guy. That's funny.
Mike says, thank you guys for all the help at the Race Logic. Class has helped us tremendously.
So glad to hear that.
Yep. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Hope to see you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because every year, shit changes.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I said on the Race Logic podcast is we're bringing technology we've learned this year to the class, you know, and I promise you, no matter what, you'll get your money's worth coming. I promise.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't, Brian will stand up and he will give you your money back. He will do it in front of everybody.
He said that.
Yep.
I'll give you cash.
Yeah.
And Matt's going to tell you about fuel.
Absolutely. I will bring my lab coat. We will mix some shit up.
And Cameron says, scariest thing in racing right now is at the local level. There's so many hidden brain injuries that people don't know they have at a local level. Because a lot of these local racetracks, their safety tech is absolutely terrible. And you can ask Matt after he had his injury at the Dome. I tried to reach out numerous times and try to ask if there was any way I could help out. Because I knew what he was going through. It was such a tough road to go down. The only way to get down and get the, I'm not sure, safety to the drivers. It need to be as much as we can provide. We run a lot of places that don't consider it, but as a car owner, we need to bring our safest car. Well, actually, that's two different people, but actually, all of it kind of ran together.
Well,
yeah, it really did. Really did.
Yeah, Cameron did reach out to me a lot. And actually, I didn't know his story. I never knew his story until I was suffering my own brain injury. But the thing about it is, these racetracks, you know, if you bring some shit box that runs and starts, they'll let you race. And the problem is, you have to protect racers from themselves because they'll buy tires, they'll buy a motor, they'll buy this, they'll buy whatever, and they will skip on safety just because they want to go race. You take a couple of weeks off and you got whatever you need for safety because, I mean, even if you race a front-wheel drive, you spend $300 a night. You don't realize it, but by the time you buy the gas to get there, the generator gas, the tires, fuel, armbands, everything you buy at concessions, going to eat afterwards, if you save that money, you've got whatever you need to go race, and you need to take it that serious because I could have had an injury that ended my career and made me not able to work and make a living. I mean, it can happen any night, so you got to take it serious every time you roll out.
Well, I mean, we had a conversation before the whole podcast, and we're talking about concussions. And like back when I had mine, which was quite a few of them, it's pretty much like, man up, pussy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was told that. Man, there ain't nothing wrong with you. No, get back after it.
Exactly. And that's not true. And it took me years to realize, well, years of rehabilitation, because for 2 years I had like post-concussion syndrome and was still racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't know to stop.
No, you don't. I mean, your whole thing is like, go forward, win races.
Yep.
And it's not. Nowadays it's like way more like. Well, we know what we got.
The knowledge is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Back in the day, we didn't know what we had, and everyone's like, I got a fucking headache. I don't feel like getting in a race car. We're like, man up, pussy, get in a fucking race car.
Yeah.
Well, I think where we've really taken that from is from the NFL. I mean, I think the NFL honestly, did bring it to light about what a concussion is. I mean, I'd heard the word concussion ever since I was a kid, but I didn't really know what it meant.
Professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, superstars murdering themselves, their families. Yeah. I mean, just it doesn't make you yourself. And if you keep pushing through it, the only way to heal from it is to take the time to heal from it. If you keep pushing past it, you're not going to get better.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. I mean, I would say that you're younger than us, Matt, but Steve and I are we are the poster children for Gen X.
Right.
We literally are the poster children for Gen X.
Man up or gay down, basically.
Well, stop being a pussy. Just suck it up, and power through. You know, how many times have you heard that?
It's hard for me when racing is part of your living.
Well, yeah.
If I'm not out there running, I'm screwed, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but luckily mine happened in the winter, because I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I would have made the best decision. I would have attempted to get in the car.
Right.
I got cleared in March, and the first night out, it was a little choppy. It wasn't rough, but it was a little choppy. And I hit that headrest, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was good, because I remember riding in a car and hitting a speed bump, and it feeling like my whole world had crashed, you know. So I knew I was better.
Yeah.
Wow. And, you know, it's really cool. Brian Littleton is here with us today.
Well, and
he's here in the house.
But, like, the cool thing is, like, part of the Race Logic Chassis School is, like, safety.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, Kate, you cover the fire suppression stuff.
And Kate and I.
Two of you. But you're also, like, such advocate for, like, get the right freaking...
Yeah.
I mean, spend $1,000 less on your car and get the right seat.
Absolutely.
Or the right helmet.
Man,
or the right,
I mean, who gives a shit? We don't do this for a living. No. Make sure you're able to walk away and go back to your job on Monday.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and in my
and your
case,
family.
of course, I sell it. I sell all this stuff, but that's not why I originally volunteered to go to Race Logic.
No.
I mean, I used to volunteer, drive 5 or 6 hours.
I remember when you did.
Yeah.
I remember when you did, because it was that kid up in frickin' somewhere in Pennsylvania or New York that got burned up.
That's what was the motivating factor.
God,
it was
that's the motivating factor that got her into the whole safety.
The fuel cell.
Correct.
You turned upside down without the check valve.
Yep.
Well, and what happened there is because at CrateInsider,
that's what was awful.
Yeah, that was terrible. But as CrateInsider, I've always been very, very niche. You know, this is. I'm not going to sell tear-offs because you can just get those at the track. Mm-hmm. You know, whoever's selling stuff at the track.
Or Motor State or wherever.
Whatever. You know, other than spark plugs and oil filters, there's really nothing else I sell that you could get at your local Napa store. So my dad always had a fire extinguisher. My brother had a fire bottle.
I did too.
You had a fire bottle. So I thought it was one of those Kleenex kind of things.
Had an onboard system.
I just thought it was one of those things that literally everybody had. So if everybody had it,
my mom wouldn't let me race
why would I sell it?
Oh yeah, no. My mom was like,
no.
The only reason
if I could finish my story, and then you.
The only reason I had saved it is because of my mom.
Oh, your mom made you?
You can finish your story. We're having a conversation over here.
Yeah, well, it makes it really hard for the podcast to hear multiple voices. Sorry. But anyway, I after that firefighter died in a fiery wreck, as I started digging into it, and I find myself reading a white paper from a DuPont, and I was like, oh whoa, this is not something a racer's going to do. And I ended up reaching out to Fire Bottle, and we've forged a relationship that's been going on for years and years. And it was Dave Hammond. Brian Littleton from Race Logic wanted to add safety. Dave Hammond recommended that I come talk. So I was like, dude, I'm not the manufacturer.
Dave's a badass, by the way.
Dave is absolutely a badass. Dave's amazing.
He's a dick, so he's probably had more concussions than me and Matt.
Absolutely. I believe that. 100%.
Actually, I was messaging with Dave just the other night. We were chatting. So.
Dave's awesome.
Yeah.
We use a lot of his stuff on CBR cars.
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think about... I think my favorite is the chassis setup plates.
We use those. Honestly, when a car has a rear impact, we check to make sure the rear end's straight, because it's always square. You know, that's a good tool. But yeah, we use a lot of his stuff on a rear end. He knows. You know, we order it from him. But
well, and not a competition thing, but what's cool is
where's he from again?
At that non-existent place, Iowa.
Oh,
I don't know. The shit shows up in the mail, but it doesn't have a return address.
That's right.
No, but Dave is currently building a late model from scratch.
I saw that. I'm
what's
pumped
so
for him.
cool is he's showing step by step, hey, I'm using this bar right here. I'm connecting it to this. I want this to be straight.
Or whatever,
it's this, here's a shock that I'm using for the mock-up so I can make my shock mounts, and I will never use this shock again. It's really cool how he's setting this car up.
That's pretty cool.
And back to safety. I sell all the safety stuff, right? You know that.
Yeah.
I tell people to go to CrateInsider.com and order it.
Thank you.
Unless it's someone that's dealing with me and I can measure them, your side is set up and it's perfect to go and order from, because you can find what you need. your site only has the best stuff for safety. It doesn't have a bunch of bullshit that you don't need. It has what you actually need. So go to CrateInsider.com. That's what I tell anyone that's not local to me. Make sure you go to CrateInsider.com and order your stuff.
Well, thank you. I probably need to do another video with Chris from Butler Built. Talk about measuring for a seat. And then hooker harness. Hooker harness when it comes to the seat belts.
I use both of those. Chris is who I talked to make sure I got. Yep, Fergie.
The man that just finished 5th last night.
He was awesome. He would have finished better the other night, but he got junked. But that's who I talked to about what headrest is the best for me. He takes safety serious. Talk to the hooker harness guys. That's what I use. So all of that's available on CrateInsider.com.
Well, what's really cool is I've been to hooker, but I've been to
I'm glad you said 2 and not 8.
I know.
Right.
But been to 2 Butler belts, and what's really amazing is those seats start as here's your bare aluminum, here's your bare, here's the upholstery. Like every bit of those seats are manufactured right there in house in Concord. It's really crazy.
What I like about Butler is the guys that are building them are also race enthusiasts. They know how important it is that they do their job right.
Yeah.
Great. So, Matt, before we sign off, because we're probably pretty close.
I don't know. We got lots of comments, so I'm going to get some questions.
But I just want to get your opinion on avgas.
Oh, hell no! Hell no! Hell no! I would not run pump gas.
You just won $20,000. So, what's your opinion on avgas?
Hell no! Don't put that in no shit you drive nowhere. No. Oh my God.
All right.
No, that
right there is the final solution.
Yeah, I feel like that's the soundbite of the show.
Not like a Nazi thing. This is the final solution of gas.
Oh my God. All right, Mike says, we had a guy running a built big blocks that kept having the same issue with number 2 bearing. It turned out to be an oiling issue.
Yours
isn't, yeah.
No, this is not, because we're losing number 2, and every other bearing in the motor looks brand new, other than number 2 rod, which is eating the shit from number 2.
Yeah, it would be consistent throughout.
Correct.
Yeah. And you were explaining it to me how these GM motors, they oil from the back. So if it's getting to 1, then there's no reason for 2 to be lame.
I think I know what it is, but we're going to wait and see what GM says.
No worries. All right, Christopher says, hello, guys, from the Black Pearl race team. Hope to meet you in Hickory in January. I will be there.
Get your ass down there.
Yeah, we'll be there. And, what I can tell you is we had a trade show December 2020. Worst possible time to have a trade show.
It was awful, honestly.
It was absolutely a terrible time, but we did it. We were able to have it. We didn't get shut down. And
even though some asshole tried to shut you down.
Somebody did try to get our shut down. Somebody literally called the governor's office to try to get us shut down.
And the state showed up. The state showed up. We all had our mask on. Right. They didn't say shit.
Exactly.
And we were good to go. And the convention center held out for us, too.
That's right.
The coolest thing, too, is...
I did not have my mask on, by the way.
Just stop.
I might have.
Stop. Well, at least you did when I was watching, because I told you, dude, you're too connected to me. You don't want to wear your mask, stay home. And actually, it was a little more strict than that. But I think the coolest
You were actually kind of bitchy about that.
I was way bitchy about that, because
super bitchy.
Oh, I was next level. I'll tell you what.
It's like borderline C word.
Oh, I was. I was.
But I'm glad you said C word and not the word, because I would have fell out of I was out of here.
Well, I made you an offer, and I said if you wanted to go ahead and buck up $60,000 for your principals, I would take it.
Yeah.
If the show got shut down because you weren't wearing a mask, you didn't want to do that. But anyway.
Well, I showed up without one.
But you wore your
Did you get one though when you got there?
No, I had one of those little freaking
Gators.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't care. You just had to look like you were doing the thing. I mean, it's not like I had a mask thing. I was just trying to have a show. That's
just didn't want the state shutting you down. You didn't give a shit really about that.
I wanted to provide the value for racers.
It was a douchebag little piece of shit that tried to shut it down by going to the governor's office. Because he was mad because he didn't get his swap meet thing.
No, but the cool thing is,
I don't even know.
Not only can you talk to the people at the trade show, but you can actually buy parts there, take them home, and bolt them onto your car.
Correct.
Do you know we spent $20,000 at that trade show with the vendors last year?
Are you serious?
No shit.
Surprise me.
Cash money. We spent $20,000.
Damn.
We got shit because they had the inventory there. They wanted to sell it. It was a good opportunity for everybody. I bought my MPI steering wheel that I've won all these races with from you at that show, cash money.
Damn.
So, we spent $20,000. Chip had $20,000 and we left with nothing but we had a pickup truck full and a Chevrolet Tahoe full of parts. So
that's the coolest thing. I mean, especially now in the times we live in. I mean, I think our whole country's problems can be summed up in 2 words: supply chain. Supply chain.
So we were talking earlier about like a car in our booth this year.
Mm-hmm.
You think that'll happen?
Absolutely. The CVR house car will be there to represent Henderson Racing Engines because none of our wins have happened, without them. And I know I probably annoy the shit out of you, but I call you a lot to say, man, what do you think about this? And I'm a dumbass because I listen to the guy that builds the car on what the car needs, and I listen to the guy that builds the engine for what the engine needs, and I make sure I'm dead nuts on what both of y'all want.
So what's going to be fun about that is having your car in the booth. There's going to be dudes crawled up underneath that thing.
I don't care.
Everything else, and like, oh my God, what are they doing that we're not doing?
Look at it.
And that's the cool thing about you guys is like, here it is.
Yep.
That reminds me, it's the funniest thing. I tell you about my first experience about going to PRI. And when I first went to PRI, it was going on in Orlando, down in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I was
I remember that.
The reason I was, actually, that's how Steve and I met,
right.
was because my brother, Jimmy Schultz from Dirt Rap, had a booth at PRI. And my brother brought a car that with the whole purpose is to wrap it and then like pull off the wrap, and then like we would put on a new wrap 3 times in a day in that booth.
Yeah.
But so here's a car in this booth. The purpose of this entire booth is to promote the wraps, that he has a wrap business. And I'm like working in Idaho. I'm working in architecture, and this is my first. I grew up in racing, but I didn't know anything about race cars. I mean, I was a girl, and it just
you were
kind of
hot back then, by the way.
Thank you. I'm hot for my age. Fuck you. Anyway, back then it just blew my mind. So people would come into the booth and look at Jimmy's car, and they'd all be like squatting down at the back of the car and like looking underneath it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell are they looking at? We're trying to sell wraps here.
Well, the cool part about you guys is you'll have your shit on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to
be what you race is going to be at the trade show.
Yep.
So come to our booth, apparently.
Yeah, come to the Henderson Racing Engines booth. It'll probably be part between Henderson Racing Engines and CrateInsider. If I was betting.
I'm going to guess that's probably going to kind of be
I know where it's going to go. I'll let since this is all new information, I'll let Jimmy know. And
yeah.
It'll basically kind of be between the aisle. It'll be like there's end caps, and then there's this giant aisle, and that's where the car is going to be, and it's all going to kind of blend.
What'll be kind of cool, you're going to be there.
Absolutely.
Chip's going to be there.
Absolutely. Answer questions, whatever.
Come talk to these guys.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have one of their cars, because you've driven about everything. Honestly.
Everything.
I mean, you've driven
even Rayburn's.
That's what
back
I'm
in the day.
You've driven about everything.
Bloomquist cars.
You can be like, here's what I do, or So
Matt's a jockey. All right. I'm just gonna jump into some comments here. Yep. So Andy Madison says Klotz is great. Schaefer's is as well. Never a problem with either one.
No. You're not gonna have a problem.
No, I mean we've had great success.
That's why I don't recommend shit oil.
Right. And Cameron says, see you soon, Steve. Love you too.
Oh, love you too, Cam.
Give me the peace sign and a couple thumbs up. Now Sean has a question. He says, what kind of gear should we run on the distributor on a 602?
Like melanized or cast iron.
Good thought.
Yeah.
And in fact, I just got, so if you do pick up one of the distributors that we've got, the MSD distributors, I've just picked up some of the MSD gears, the melanized gears, so that we can handle that.
I prefer melanized, but cast iron works good too.
Mikey says, I will talk to the wife. I'd love to make the trip out again. This time the beer's on me. Hey, be careful.
Dude,
be careful.
Get your fucking ass out here. I'm serious.
Russell says, big dog Matt Henderson, check his chair height.
That's a badass race car driver.
Who's that?
Russell Brown.
Oh, Russell Brown. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right, we got a
He
couple
builds race
questions.
cars.
He does.
Yeah.
RBRC.
Yep.
Good deal. Billy says, I've got a couple questions. I'm going to run E85 next year. From the info I gathered, I should run 8 AN hose to the fuel pump and a 6 AN return line. What fuel pressure should I be on that?
No, you need like number 10 to the fuel pump, and then 8 to the carburetor, and then you can return with 8.
Okay.
That way you have a surplus.
Correct.
Yeah.
He says,
And
okay.
sorry,
Go ahead.
No.
All right. Also, what should be done after the night of racing? Some guys have said to drain the bowls and run regular unleaded through the fuel pump to get all the E85 out.
If you're racing weekly, nothing.
Just at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're if you're like taking 3 weeks off or a year off, then put something else through it other than that. But
And would you agree? Don't run foam if you're running the 85.
100%.
No fucking foam.
No.
No matter what, don't run foam if you're running the 85.
And do not run a paper element
Nope,
fuel filter.
stainless steel.
Got to be
fuel filter.
stainless.
Yep. From my experience.
Yep.
Very costly experience. Damn sure, make sure.
Burnt down motor experience.
Yes, sir. Leaned her out.
Still less than the 20,000 that you won.
Might not have been.
I don't know. Maybe it was on a super motor, but you know.
No. It was a crate motor.
I do need to get a fuel filter system and on CrateInsider. I really don't have one right now, but I need to get something.
Good.
going on.
I mean, I'd talk to Willie.
Yeah,
Willie's got a badass
one.
fuel. He's
Yeah.
got a freaking great
He
fuel
does.
filter.
And a diagram that goes with it.
Exactly.
And you know, we've got some we really have some great comments here about safety. Doug says it's just sad when the track asks for an EMT because they don't want to pay for an ambulance. I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree.
It needs to happen.
That
should be part of the show.
And Mike says hockey probably has more concussions than any other sport.
Probably.
And more missing teeth too.
Probably.
That in football, probably so.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I love the hell out of watching some hockey though.
But I mean, a lot of people don't understand that, like, your normal weekly racing, let's say in the place that doesn't exist, Iowa, like where they're bouncing through fucking holes every night, and you're banging your head off your freaking seat rest. Honestly,
you probably have a concussion. You go to work the next week.
Don't
you
know
go
about
fucking race, and you won't believe what you don't remember and how your family knows you're acting different, but they can't justify what's wrong with you.
Exactly.
I mean, you probably have. I don't know if hockey does or not. It's insane what we go through in the cockpit. I know hockey has a lot of more blunt, like oh shit moments, but
I know you got some.
surprised.
I know you have some in-car video where you're. I mean, like if you're watching in-car video on wherever it is, and you're sitting there going like this with the steering wheel, you know what your head's doing? Your head's going bang, bang, bang. Like
I have an in-car from the dome, and you can see the seat vibrating from me hitting it.
You can't hold your head like stationary.
You know, that's what's so interesting to me, because it's one thing, I think we, most of us, or myself included, when I think of concussion, I think of impact. You know, I think of like, hey, you crashed into the wall, okay, let's check the guy for a concussion.
Right. Not always.
But the idea of this, like, I've brought the Matrix onto, actually I was on Beckley. And it really shocked me. I mean, not being a race car driver, you know, and you look at the track and you think, well, it just kind of looks like a smooth. It almost looks like a smooth highway, even though it's dirt, but it's not, and it's just all the hell over the place. Yeah. But I would have never thought that you could get a concussion. I mean, when you explained it, it was perfectly clear to me. But man, I mean, thank you for bringing light to that.
And again, the seat has a lot to do with it.
Seat has a
so if you're bouncing your head off like the right foam, you're okay.
Absolutely.
If you're bouncing your head off the wrong foam, your brain's like going.
The Pro Light 2 that I use has a progressive foam where basically the end foam stops you. It'll stop whatever you got going on to keep you from breaking your neck, basically. But it's progressive foam to that point to where it slows your head down to keep you from getting a concussion.
Yep.
There's a reason I pay so much for my seats. Nobody cuts me a deal on shit for seats. I don't want them to, because if there was something better than a Butler built, I would go buy it. And I like everybody at Butler built, but I'm going to take care of me.
Right.
And that's why I buy it. I know it's safe.
Randy LaJoy makes a good seat and stuff like that.
No doubt.
I mean, there's plenty of good seat builders, ISP, stuff like that.
And all three of those will be at the trade show. And you know, I think that's one of the best things about the trade show is you can come and you can check out each of those, because what works for you And
Might not
whatever's
work
the
for
best
work
for
for
you
everybody.
may not be the best for somebody else.
I ran LaJoy, never had a problem out of them. I've sat in an ISP, drove in it, never had a problem out of it. I've got a relationship with Butler Built, and that's why that's
Right.
my choice. And
Right.
like I said, if something was miles ahead of Butler Built, I would go buy it.
Right.
And I just think if you buy a top of the line LaJoy, if you buy a top of the line ISP, well, actually all ISPs are kind of top of the line. If you buy either of those two, or you buy the top of the line Butler Built, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
I agree.
Just don't skip on safety for no reason.
Don't go back to like 1990.
When we had the bolt-on headrest.
With me with the bolt-on headrest
I did that.
in my house seat.
Yes, I did that too. Did you ever go under caution, bend the headrest
Oh,
back? Yeah, I did too.
Oh my god!
And you know, I had like the whole thing. You pulled your neck down tight.
Oval Craft.
Yeah.
You remember that shit? Yes. I was trying to think of the name. Oval Craft seats.
Now, we've really hit a nerve here with talking about safety, and I mean that in a positive way because our comments here, Cameron says, you can ask about every race car driver I've ever worked with. If the car is not safe, I will not work with it.
Right.
Ed says, a great discussion that all of our drivers need to listen to. When you go to this class, you hear this. Listen, guys. And it's true. You and I do a segment together.
Absolutely.
And we know it's kind of funny because it's that idea of sell people what they want, but give them what they need. And like you're already there in the audience, so we're going to tell you about safety, and hopefully you don't zone out.
Ed was the relationship I built with Stanco and Ed and Jamie. All of Stanco was from Race Logic.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yes,
That's amazing.
Absolutely. Ed listened to that deal and. He'll back me up on this, but he was so impressed with the information that was given away.
Oh wow!
From engines to safety to braking to everything. Race Logic was, it's a tell-all book basically.
100%.
It really is, and it's no holds barred. Every question is available to be answered, and the whole idea, Brian really sets the stage, and he says, we're here to provide the information. If you're here just to sell, and I unashamedly try to sell safety systems. Fire suppression. I will not apologize.
Well, I'm not going to apologize for trying to sell engines.
Right, but it's not about trying to.
Is like we're giving information.
But it's not really like like oh my! I hate when I go to someplace and I'm trying to learn. And then they're trying to sell me something, and I have to put up the filter, and I hate that.
No,
I don't want that. I want the information.
It's not a timeshare type deal where they're trying to say, you know what I mean?
No.
Well, let's look at Race Logic this last year. We went to the late model deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I sold. Let's see. How many people were there? Like
115,
50,
maybe? Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
20, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, I probably sold 3 engines.
Yeah.
Out of that.
I sold 2 cars.
All right, so I wasn't there to make money.
No.
I was there to give people information. To the point of my dad, which we were talking about earlier, on 4M back in the day,
spending
telling
hours
on there, telling people how to not spend too much money.
Yes.
So that was my whole point of being there, and I'm doing it again this year.
Well, you came in with no expectations. You'd never
No,
been to one,
I
and you
never
didn't know what it involved.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this year I get to speak a little bit longer because we can have some more things to go over. But
I think you didn't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. You come into that deal and you are blown away by what it actually is. Because I was
100%. I mean, like I said, I come in there here's a dude who's raced since 1986.
Mm-hmm.
At some of the highest levels that you can race at,
yeah.
dirt wise and stuff like that.
Known for
and
it.
I'm sitting there going, oh fuck, I learned shit.
Yeah.
Now maybe you need to sit down and pay more attention now, because before I'm this is gonna be a normal,
It's not the basics.
Go in there, screw the right front jack screw down 2 turns, and blah blah blah. No, it's not the basics. No. I was impressed.
Yeah.
And we talked about
I've known him a long time. It takes a lot to impress him.
Honestly,
I
learned shit. Yeah.
I really tried to explain to him what it was about. Although the crate class, this was the very first one we've done that was for crates.
Yeah.
And so that was a whole new deal. Matt, of course, you were
which is kind of my forte. I've raced them and I've built them and everything else, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah, it's gonna fucking suck and blah blah blah.
And I'm gonna have to stay awake
and
for this
yeah,
shit.
and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh,
Hell,
wow,
didn't know
Chip
that.
said something that was interesting. And then it's like,
and it's like Ben Baker
wow.
and Robbie Bilbrey, who's a
Bilbrey's there.
He's
Bilbrey's.
a freaking NASA
And I'm sitting there going,
engineer.
oh my god! Wow, all right.
Wow.
Now I'm like paying attention.
Bilbrey doesn't walk into a room that he's not the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
That dude's like
unreal.
I mean, he needs to like meet Buck Parker from Daytona 1.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine
they would
doing
talk
them together
all day?
Yes. All right, so I'm just going to kind of go through some comments here. And Mike Burns says, always buy safety before speed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cameron says, thank you all so much. Safety is such an overlooked thing in racing. Everybody complains about how expensive safety is, but how precious is life. To me, it's everything.
Right.
Thank you all for being so special. Can't wait to see you guys again soon.
Yep.
Thank you and love you all. Mike says, I heard people have wanted Steve to wear a mask for years.
Him wearing a mask is good on the eyes.
I have to wear a mask, honestly, going to California and going to fucking Pittsburgh.
I bet you're pissed about it.
Dude, I'm so mad right
Oh
now.
my God.
I flew to Louisiana during all this last year, and I had to wear a mask from the time I walked in the airport until I walked out of that airport. And you talking about aggravating as hell for somebody that doesn't like that shit is awful.
Well, like, the funny thing about the whole mask thing to me is, like I'm gonna show up at the airport at Charlotte to fly to Pittsburgh. I'm gonna stand out there and smoke a cigarette, blowing my
front of
fucking
God and
COVID
everybody.
smoke shit everywhere, right? And like nobody's gonna say a damn thing. If I walk in the damn airport without a mask on, they're gonna lose their shit.
Get out. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, Cameron says, Matt knew he was going to win that $20,000 to win race last year because he already spent the damn money.
I had to win it.
Jack says the driver is the only adjustment you need. Well, I mean, I think with where we're at today, with crates especially, where tech is certainly a piece of it. Driver cannot be ignored.
Well, I mean, like back to the conversation before, I used to tell my brother, like, crewmen are replaceable, drivers aren't.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Wow. Cameron says, that was the very first time I met you and your brother was at the PRI show in Orlando when your brother was doing the rap on the race car multiple times.
Yes.
And Billy says, cool, thanks, y'all. I appreciate it, giving the tips about the fuel system. Cameron, and don't forget to check your lug nuts on your race car so the tires do not fly off the car and hit somebody in the damn head.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I lost one from
and
the pole
if
this
you
year.
guys have any safety glasses or anything, I would definitely love to be a part of it. Please reach out to me. I want to do something special for other drivers from near-death experience information. And Mike says, if anybody wants to see how much a driver's head can bounce around, just watch an in-car video of Northeast Modified racer Billy Pouch Sr. That's cool. I mean, I actually know his daughter, Mandy.
Yeah.
Mandy Pouch. Yeah. She's a. I mean, it's not like we haven't met in person, but I interviewed her for the podcast before, and we were connected. So it's pretty cool. There's not a lot of. There's just not a lot of YouTubers and stuff that talk about racing, and I can go on about, marketing and all of that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But on
That's
this
another
show, we
great
talk
thing
about,
you've done.
Thank you.
Having the safety stuff that you do have out there and the tech tips, that's another great thing Crate Insider's done.
Thank you.
So, Matt, before we leave, what are we looking at, like, 2022?
We're going to do more crate racing, and we're going to do some super late model stuff. We've got some good friends of ours that's helping us do that. So we'll have 2 house cars next year at CBR. And it's going to put us in a market. We'll announce that at a later date, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate the people that makes that possible. Right. And then I promise you for fucking certain, there will never be another motor besides a Henderson race engine bolted in our crate car. Because
well, I appreciate that.
Just support you get, man, when you're a Henderson customer, it's unfucking real. And I've had everybody.
Trust me, we're not sitting here stroking each other.
No, I'm telling you. Yeah. We didn't like each other.
Tell that story.
Yeah, we fucking did not like each other. I'm
gonna pour another glass of wine.
Fucking
tell that
Steve
story.
Hendren called me a local crate hero one time on Facebook, but we ain't talking about that. But we didn't like each other. I had other brands, people that built my motors, and I come here and the guy's like, I don't give a fuck that I didn't like you. Here's the best you're gonna run. Buy my engine. We're going racing. He's pulled for me. He's gave me all the tech support I could ask for. Any questions I've had, he's gave me straight info. And it's not because it's me. If it's you, if it's anybody you know, it's the same damn info you're going to get.
Jonathan Davenport, who we've done motors for. It's
Kyle Bronson.
It's, Brandon Overton.
Yeah.
It's, his brother.
Yeah.
Cody. I mean, it's whoever. Dylan Brown.
I'm just telling you. I've learned there's a reason you guys are the Crate Authority. You won't get me in anything else.
No, I mean.
Well, and I
appreciate that, and we're not sitting here like stroking each other again, but I'm just saying I appreciate that because there's some people that don't recognize that.
I do.
Where you help them out.
I do.
Not naming names, but when they go other places because they think that you did them wrong. Or whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
There's not a special engine. I mean, you do them the same whether you're doing them for my customers or your customers.
Well, it doesn't matter.
You've got your process.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your customer and I'm doing the motor, Kate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as if it's
Matt Henderson, and you also treat them the same.
Freaking whoever it is, Dylan Brown.
You treat them the same. I mean, if they want to come and do dyno set testing, that's still included.
And that's one thing that we do. We dyno for all of our customers for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm putting a motor in my car.
And why are you here? Yeah.
I'm putting a motor in my car that was not built for me specially. It's a sponsor of mine's motor, but it wasn't built for me or with me in mind. And I'm putting it in my car, and I've got the same confidence in it rolling out to a 50. It's the biggest race of the year, 50,000 to win. I'm putting that motor, and I've got the same confidence in that motor as I do the ones that's built for me. He's got two of mine ready to put together.
It might lose number 2 main bearing tomorrow on the dyno. I'm just saying, but if it does, we're gonna have the other one.
Yeah,
one of your other
we're
two
good
together.
Either way. Yeah,
so we're good.
Well, when I heard Matt was coming, I said, "Well, let him know that he can stay in my Airbnb next door."
Oh yeah, this worked out great for me.
You haven't even seen it yet,
No.
but worked out really, really well. So, yeah, I might have to do an extension of the Hendron dyno testing service.
But no, I mean,
Hendron might have to have me on retainer.
You brought up Kyle Bronson.
Mm-hmm.
You and Kyle are probably like 2 of my biggest promoters.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody that's a customer of yours that wouldn't be.
No, I mean Dylan Brown. I mean Jonathan Davenport. I mean stuff like that. I mean, yeah, no problem. But like honestly, like day to day, I get more calls because of Kyle and you than anything. Yeah. So I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad to do it because I don't know anything about race engines, and when you don't know and you can call someone that knows and they'll answer the phone, they'll tell you straight up, and you know that you're not being fed bullshit, not, hey, come buy this part. You tell me, man, don't spend that money. Here's what you need to do.
Right.
And you do that consistently where you could easily just run my card.
Yeah.
That's what I tell everybody, back home, and that's why your East Tennessee presence is growing, I know, and then
it's actually growing pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean honestly, because certain other people are like not doing what they should be doing.
Right, and that's why is because I tell them, look, I've had them all, but I'm telling you, this is the route you need to go.
Right. No, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's fucking awesome. So.
Well, and here's a cool little point, because we've been talking about safety quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And my friend says, watch Mandy's latest video of her dad on YouTube. Perfect example of how violent it can be in the cockpit. And
absolutely.
And of course, Mandy's dad is Billy Pouch, Billy Pouch Sr.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but that is definitely worth a watch. I saw it.
Is it?
Wow.
His head is rocked 100 times. It's bad.
Wow.
And but he's still hammered down, right?
Yeah, he didn't live, but right. I'm telling you, his head got rocked.
Right.
Well, and speaking of videos of just racing in general, I also encourage you to check out RacingRewind.com. It'll take you right to our YouTube channel. We've got older racing. Yeah. We post once or twice a week. Right. We're still going through the Silva collection.
That's y'all?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow, I didn't know that. That's
so
cool.
We started it because Steve had a whole pile of videotapes, and so if we were to go to my desk upstairs, You'll see there's a VCR on my desk. Actually, it's Steve's VCR, and it's all hooked up to my computer so that I can digitize the videos. So if you happen to have any old videos on VCR,
wow,
we're talking VCR stuff.
I've got them.
We're trying
to
if you've
got them, please bring them to me.
I've got like Atomic Hall of Fame 100 and big races.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing! I would
love for that to be captured somewhere.
Obviously,
and that's what I do is
obviously
digitize
we return them.
So. I send the videotapes back, and then what I do is just run through the VCR and digitize them through our programs, and then we put them up on YouTube so everyone can enjoy them.
Yeah, I will send you some stuff because my mom and dad, when I first started racing and was running these shows, would buy whatever you know or video. My mom actually videotaped a bunch of them too, but. It's I'll send those. That's cool.
Please do. And if you've got something, reach out to me personally. I'd be happy to send you my address. You do get your tapes back. I just want to digitize them and capture them so we can put them up on YouTube.
You know what I stumbled across?
What did you? I mean, another wedding video?
No, it's not a wedding video. No, so it was 1993. Install. Holy fuck! What the fuck?
Because that's not awkward at all.
Stop being a.
No, you say that when you're in between. Don't say that with me in between.
I got a Henderson buffer right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna help you a lot.
So I found this whole video through a Facebook group of me, right? Well, not only me, but it was like my whole Team USA. In Australia in 1993, racing in Stall, New South Wales.
Oh, that's so cool.
Where I won a heat race and frickin' finished second in the feature, whatever. But I mean, it was pretty cool because I've never seen nothing from it. Nobody did that shit back then.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that needs to live forever somehow.
So I want to try to hook you up with the person who posted that.
Because if I could repost it to our YouTube channel, I'd appreciate that. And if anybody in the Iowa area has video of Dick Schultz racing, Dick Schultz is my dad. There was a really cool.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I knew the same last name. Yeah. I didn't know that was your dad, Jimmy's dad. I had no idea.
Yeah, so me and Jimmy's dad is Dick Schultz.
So that's why you've got passion for racing. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I have this passion for not just for racing, but for the legacy. I mean, it's the legacy, and I would love. I mean, I feel so much like I'm missing out. Like I don't get to see my dad race. I mean, of course, I was there as a kid in the stands. And, and it's just like, we're on another race,
Whose cars did your dad used to build?
Ed Sanger's.
Ed Sanger's cars.
Yeah.
He built Ed Sanger's cars.
Holy shit.
Back in the day.
we moved from Minnesota to Iowa.
Of course, Ed won't give him no credit for it, but.
Oh my God! So there's that whole story about my dad coming to Ed's, and we actually lived in the little house that was right next to Sanger's shop. My first waking memory of my whole life is being 4 years old, sleepwalking, and running into my parents' door, living in Sanger's house.
About 2 or 3 months ago, if I can find it, I'm going to show you an overhead shot of that I saw on Facebook. Of that shop, house, everything.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but it's updated. It's probably not how it was, but you'll recognize it.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 bays of a shop. I mean, this is what I remember in my head. Yeah. And this little house, I don't know if it was 2 bedrooms or what it was. We moved from Minnesota to Iowa.
Well, the unfortunate part about it is Sanger is not going to credit your dad one bit for everything he accomplished.
Well, no, because Dad was doing his own thing. He wanted to bring it to Sanger, but Sanger wanted to do his own thing, and it was everything was fine and dandy until Dad beat him at the racetrack, and then it was not fun anymore.
Right.
I've been there. Separate situation, but I've been there.
I know Dad has told the story, but I can't remember. I mean, honestly, one of the most listened to of our podcasts was when my dad was on the podcast for Father's Day of 2020.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and I know he told us that story, but I don't know if it happened while we were shooting the video or if it was afterwards. But we're gonna have to bring my dad back onto the podcast, and it'd be really cool.
Her dad is like a wealth of knowledge. Oh my god!
Oh, it's incredible. Dude. I mean, he's MacGyver. When it comes to being fabricating, my dad can make anything.
Well, who was the NASCAR guy that you were the first person? I mean, you were the.
Well, my dad
Winston,
worked for.
You were a Winston Trophy girl.
I was a Winston Cup girl. Yeah.
And then you did the whole.
Well,
try to find him a sponsorship.
Oh yeah, Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd, yeah.
My very first NASCAR race. My dad was the crew chief for Morgan's Bush team, and so my dad tells me like literally I've been in North Carolina for like 3 days, and this is my very first NASCAR race ever. So my dad's like, okay, so here's the deal. Morgan doesn't have a sponsor for this race. So what you do is we've qualified. So you need to here's a list of people who didn't qualify. Go to their sponsors and see if they want to sponsor Morgan's car
to be in the show, basically.
Yeah. So I got like $5,000 from UniFirst, my very first like weekend at a NASCAR race.
Cold call.
Like literally walking around.
And $5,000 then.
Yeah. In 1995.
Big deal.
95. Yeah.
Big deal.
So we coordinated
so here's Kate all hot with big boobs, like walking around going.
I don't know if it was that. It was honestly because I'm freaking fearless. I mean, I just spent 5 years on the road as a cold call salesman. Like I literally walked in the door. Hi, my name's Kate. I got something to show you. I mean, wow, sell a sponsorship, and then of course I got a percentage of that. So, my dad said, hey, you go get him a sponsor, you're going to get a percentage. Well, guess what? I made money my very first weekend in North Carolina with no freaking job.
That's pretty cool.
So basically made $1,000. My dad was okay with that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you remember how me and you started talking?
I don't.
I'll tell you. Last year, I was driving for a company that had engines from someone else, and I called you and said, this carburetor's shit. I need help. Yep. And you said, bring your car. I'll sell you a carburetor. Not your engine. We'll dyno it and see what happens.
That's right. Yep.
I've been using your stuff ever since. You helped me when I wasn't even...
No, I mean that's what I do.
And you and I talked before. Right. I mean, I think part of it, too,
you
kind of broke the ice with like, okay,
because we did hate each other.
He thinks I'm an asshole.
I thought he was an asshole.
Matt's like a cool guy. Okay, all right, Matt. Steve's not as bad as you think. It's like it's going to be okay. I mean, I'm not trying to take credit here. I'm just saying,
that's
it's actually so interesting. All of these relationships that are part of this whole situation.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is like, don't believe everything you see on Facebook.
Facts.
Facts.
I think that's a really good way to end this show. Steve, do you have any final thoughts for this week's show?
I love Matt Henderson and his $20,000 fucking win, which just stomped the shit out of like...
Powered by Hendron Racing.
There you go. So,
wow.
Yeah, I love Matt.
Matt, do you have any final thoughts?
I just... I wanted to... Me and Steve were texting back and forth yesterday, and he was like, hey, come be on the podcast, and I wanted to be... I'm actually frequently a watcher of this podcast, and just everything Steve's done, I wanted to come on here and brag on him, and being able to push the safety side through Crate Insider was a big deal for me. It always is. So I couldn't turn down the opportunity, but just thank you both for letting me be on here.
And CVR
race cars, man.
Well, of course, I want to thank both of these guys for being part of the podcast. Thank you for being here. And of course, if you want to check out our podcast, you can find us over on RacingInsidersPodcast.com. You can also find this wherever you're watching. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. Generally, we show up on a weekly basis on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. It kind of varies because we're people.
Time is it now?
And I know we've gone for like almost 2 hours.
Holy
it's
fuck.
7:21.
It's pretty damn good.
So yeah, it really is. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the show, and we will look forward to seeing you next week. I hope you have a great week. Bye, guys.
That's it.